Chapter 8, Video 7. You're probably asking yourself, Chapter 8 is based on atrial rhythms, okay? So everything that we're talking about in Chapter 8 is rhythms that originate in the atria. With this being said, we see the term supraventricular tachycardia. Okay, I want you to understand and plant this to your memory so you do not get this confused. This is very, very, very important, and you will need to know this, and you will need to be able to relate to this. Supraventricular tachycardia is a rhythm that occurs in the atriums, okay? So that's why we're going over this rhythm right now when we talk about atrial rhythms. Supra means above, okay? So above the ventricles, okay? So supraventricular means above the ventricles. What is above the ventricles? The atriums are above the ventricles. So supraventricular tachycardia is a rhythm that is occurring above the ventricles in the atrium, okay? The supraventricular tachycardia is a catch-all term given to tachycardias that are supraventricular, meaning above the ventricles. They usually originate in either the sinus node, the atrium, or the AV junction. So this tells you they can originate in either of these pacemakers, in the sinus node, in the atrium, or the AV junction. The exact origin cannot be identified, but P waves here are not discernible, okay? So here is the criteria that you have to remember for supraventricular tachycardia. We have a rate of 130 or higher. It's usually greater than 150. The regularity here is regular. We do not see P waves. The PR interval is not measurable because we cannot positively ID any P waves. So when we can't ID P waves, we cannot have a PR interval. The QRS here is less than 0.12 seconds, which tells us that this is not a problem in the ventricles because this is normal. The causes are the same causes as paroxysmal atrial tachycardia, stimulants, hypoxia, and heart disease, okay? But here is the criteria. We have a rate of 130 or higher, but we do not have P waves, and we can't have a PR interval. The adverse effects of supraventricular tachycardia would be decreased cardiac output, and this is going to be because we have such a rapid heart rate. Again, the treatment, the adenosine, this is a medication that's given to slow that heart rate. Digitalis, albuterol, calcium channel blockers, beta blockers, oxygen because the rate is so fast and the body's not getting a chance to absorb the oxygen, so you may give them supplemental oxygen. And if their patient is unstable, then again we can do cardioversion, which is an electrical shock given to the heart, but it's given in a synchronized manner. We have a rhythm and it's given in a timed manner where defibrillation is not. Medication can control these atrial rhythms, but if the patient becomes unstable, then again we will cardiovert. So let's go back to our criteria and let's look at this strip. Oh no, I've just been given another strip. It looks completely different. Go back to your 5 questions. Question number 1. Are there QRS complexes? And they are. They're here, and they're all shaped the same. Is this rhythm regular or irregular? So let's take our paper and mark between this one and this one. And then let's take these dots and march down through here. And this rhythm here is regular. Let's look at our heart rate. It's regular, so let's just get a mean rate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 divided times 10, 15 multiplied times 10 gives us a heart rate of 150. Okay, so we see our QRS and we see a T. Do we see P's here? We do not see P's. There are no P waves. They're not all distorted, so we don't see any premature atrial contractions here because we would have to have something to compare to. This looks the same across the strip. So we do not have P waves, so we cannot measure a PR interval. But the QRS here, if I had to look at this, they're really close. It's going to look like a 0.08. I can see two little blocks here, 1.5 to 2. So we're going to say 0.08. So looking back at our criteria, we have a rhythm of SVT, which is supraventricular tachycardia. This is not PAC because we can't identify the premature atrial contractions. We don't see PAT because we don't have a burst. This is a constant rhythm across. We don't see the flutter waves. We don't see the fibrillation, the squiggly waves. So this is indicative of the criteria that we need for supraventricular tachycardia. If you have any questions, please let me know.